Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content here in this video, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Doing those three things doesn't cost you a dime and it helps the channel immensely. For those of you that do want to invest more in your game and become a better player quicker, then you can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link that is in the description down below. Patreon.com/GolfClashTommy. And for those that are looking for more free content as well, our website GolfClashTommy.com is the place where you can find loads and loads on loads of free content to learn from. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get to the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. So, we're getting ourselves on hole number 5 playing with the big topper. It's not often that we do play with the big topper, but when we do, it's often a very fun time in my opinion. Now, centered on to the pad here, which is very important. And big topper 7 is going to be playing from the top of plus 12 yard mark. When it comes to the other big topper, especially in a lower level, you're gonna have to push up a little bit to find middle of the pad, and if that happens, then you're gonna have to push up that amount, you're gonna have to push that amount up after your adjustment. Max no elevation P3, max top spin, 1 right spin, and then we're gonna play with 1 ring of overpower. Bounces nicely onto the pad, into the rough, and it will roll out on the fairway, and now we're gonna have a very nice and easy time to get ourselves an eagle. Second shot is easy, I would call it, because it's a straight wind. Either you go a regular EB school with no elevation and play that 1 P3 numbers as we're playing with a P3 ball, or you're playing with a max top spin EB school for those entering a level 7 or level 8, which is a minus 35% elevation P2 numbers as we're playing with a P3 ball. Center the ball and hit perfect. Dead center, and I didn't expect anything else here on hole number 5. Hole number 6 in the 5th anniversary tournament is gonna offer us a tough par 3, but since we discovered the rough bump here, we have actually been having a super good success with this hole. The important part here though is to avoid the glitchy spot, and to do that it's gonna be obviously hard to do that all the time, but it's gonna try to do different type of spins regardless of what wind direction you have. This to try to get to the green at the same spot all the time. So using 1 backspin here, a little bit of left spin, you can see that the ball guideline go up the hill to fall down towards the pin, because that's the way to do on this hole. Medium distance, 10% elevation here, and I'm using a wind 4 ball here, which is important to have in mind here, because using a ball with higher wind could, especially in tailwind, makes you go in between club. That's why wind 4 is perfect here, and it doesn't matter if it's a wind 4 power 0, power 1, power 2, power 3, you should still have room to adjust there. Medium distance plus 10, it rolls up the hill, fall back down, right the pin for a beautiful hole-in-one on hole number 6. On the drive, we start at the top of plus 24 with our Apocalypse level 8. And once we have done that, we're gonna apply spin. 2 right spin and 5.8 top spin. I'm actually gonna do this after I made the adjustment. Didn't know that, but that's what I'm gonna do. Now, adjustment max plus 10 P5. And pushing up 8 rings with our Apocalypse level 8. Obviously, it's different push up for the different clubs. 2 right and 5.8 topspin, and then we're gonna go full blast overpower with a slightly slower needle. You can use a different power fireball if you like, but the needle will either be more shaky if you do have more wind resistance. If you have less wind resistance, obviously it's going to be a slightly slower needle. I think Berserker is a perfect ball for this occasion. Gets it nicely out on the fairway, and that's 427 yards. Now for the second shot, I'm going to go with a pin check first, which is +6. Now we're going to have in mind that we do have 1.5 bar backspin applied here. The goal here is to find half of the red ring on the green and the rest on the fringe, and then whatever backspin that gets a ball guideline to be just to the hole or just short of the hole is better to have been said. Then we do have +7. We're gonna play +7 as a 48% slider with a 20% elevation P5 numbers, and then we are adding or subtracting 0.1 from there. So here I'm subtracting 0.1 to the adjustment and getting this ball to drop nicely here on hole number 3. For hole number 2 of the Southern Pines, we are in tailwind playing with a wood club and also crosswind, and when we do have a headwind, we are playing with our quarterback or the rock or any other type of driver. Now, playing an NMT means no move target, so I'm not touching the target until it's time to adjust the rings. So I'm using my sniper here with 2.6 right spin and 3 backspin. Now, based off the result, we would be benefited from having a little bit more right spin in this particular wind angle, but the ball comes in the way it normally does on this hole, gets up the bank, rolls down towards the pin, and trying to get that hole in one. You will always be close here if you catches the bank in a good way, but kind of hard to dial this one in to be consistently dropping for an hole in one. But at least a super safe way of getting the birdie with a good chance for the hole in one. And please pay attention to that again. In the tailwind and the crosswind, we're using a wood club. In the headwinds, we're using a driver, because otherwise we will pull into max club with our wood club. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides for expert and or master division. We continue season after season to provide high quality guides for you that do want to take your game to the next level. Play with free-to-play balls or play with paid balls or a mix in between, and get yourself the chance of being competitive without having to spend loads of hours and balls in practice. According to what we think in our team is that you will definitely earn by having a guide. You will, in this case, not have to spend the money in the balls, which is obviously a cost to be dialed yourself, and you can spend that time and that money elsewhere whilst our guide get you to be competitive. If you do have any sort of questions before signing up, you can always email our support at golfclashtommy.com. Sign up by scanning the QR code on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link that is in the description down below. Here we play with an NMT. This is a shot that is for Apocalypse level 6+, and we're playing with a Luminary ball. Obviously you can play with a Wind 4 ball as well, but it needs to be Power 5 and Side Spin 2. Adjustment is max +10 P5, and now pay close attention to how many rings you pull into overpower. This is 2.2 rings, and that's the amount of overpower we shall use. 1 ball left curl. And we are playing 7 topspin and 2 left spin. The idea here with this shot is to get the ball to bounce on the fairway up into the rough and roll out. Either with you get a glitch roll or with you get dead bounce. We have coverage for both for the second shot. On the second shot on hole 8, if we happen to get a glitch roll out from the rough, then we're gonna play rings from min, and that's gonna be with 2 backspin and 2 left spin and 1 backspin. So we go to min line, we add the spins, and then we're pushing up the amount of rings needed to get the ball guideline to be just through the hole. In this video in particular, I'm playing 17 rings from min, which is then 17% slider with a 10% over adjustment, Power 3 ball settings. So very simple all the way through here, and always pull over bullseye. That's super important. Pulling over the bullseye and getting myself the correct adjustment, and now we're only looking to do a perfect ball. There we go, perfect ball it is. Bounce on the fringe, up towards the green, and right at pin for a beautiful eagle here. And hole number 8 with a tough wind. If we do not get the glitch rollout from rough, then we're gonna have to play slightly different. We're gonna use a pin shake here instead, and we're gonna use 2 left spin and 1 back spin. So there's always the same spin for the second shot, regardless if it's rings from in or it is a normal bounce up shot. Here from +3 pin shake, we're playing 56% slider, +10% elevation, P3 numbers. Always pull over bullseye. Pulling over the bullseye is done. Center the ball and hit perfect. And we're going to have a very good chance locking in an eagle here on hole number 8. Hole number 3 of the Southern Pines. Here we are playing straight down the fairway, regardless what wind direction we have. Here we strongly advise you to play with the ball that gives you the most power, and also with the club that gives you the most power and topspin. Now you can see for this drive, I'm using 5.8 bars of topspin, which is for even for the lower level apocs to be able to follow along. But if you do have an apocalypse of late, then use all the topspin, because you can see how much fairway we have to play on. So we have to try to get this ball as far down the fairway possible. And the reason for that is that we obviously want to get ourselves away of securing the eagle. When it comes to things such as, like, I can explain. When it comes to things like tough par 5s or long par 5s, there isn't really much when it comes to getting an opportunity for the albatross. So in that case, we kind of have to just focus on getting the eagle in the safest possible way. Now, if we have this distance left, which is quite a far distance, we obviously want to have the wood club with the most type of power. And also we do want to try to be a little bit smart here. Now, we could try to bounce over the bunker if we would so like, but with some slight headwind on the approach, that's not really going to be possible. At least not possible in the sense of getting the ball to stop on the green before it rolls into the back rough. So I'm trying to be smart to play on the right-hand side with the intention of having a wedge from the back end of the green. I'm not really looking for the ball to roll down towards the pin here, now getting dangerously close there to the sand as well. But from here, I'm totally fine, especially in this wind direction, to get there. Now, if we do have a tailwind off the tee, we could push the drive longer and we could then aim, you know, closer to the bunker and then bounce over to actually attack for the albatross. But that was not a wind that did present itself for me when trying to show you the way of playing this hole. So this one, hole 3, should be treated as an eagle only hole with a very slim chance for an albatross. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're walking away from this long and boring par 5 with an eagle. So the drive here, NMT, 1 top spin, and we're gonna use a 3 right spin here. You can play with any power 3 plus ball here. Doesn't have to be a king slayer, doesn't have to be a king maker. Use a power 4, power 5, just that you need the side spin 3. It's very important. Adjustment, max plus 10 P3, and then we're gonna apply 1.5 ball of curl to the right. Perfect ball it is. and we are bouncing on the fairway over the rough and getting ourselves into a very nice position now for the second shot. Second shot, we're playing with the Hornet, and we're gonna do a pin check here, or we're gonna check rings long, so to speak, or rings short from pin check, so is what we can call it. This time we are 2 rings short from +1, and we're gonna do 3 top spin, 1 left spin. Now we're looking to be just before the glitch. You see that little glitch there? That. Just before that position. Very important. And now from +0, it's going to be 88% slider with a -10% elevation P3 numbers. And we're, in this case, going to deduct 0.2 from that, as we're 2 rings short of plus yardage. Center the ball and hit perfect. And there we go. Bounce into the rough, rolls down onto the green, getting it dead center for a lovely hole-in-one. No, not hole-in-one, the lovely eagle on hole number 1. Hole number 7, a grizzly NMT. That's not often you hear me say that, but this is a funny and really good shot. We're playing with 1 top spin and 2 left spin here. So I'm setting up the spins with a ball that do have those stats. And the reason I do that is to keep myself away from having any accidental side spin. Now, trying for a straight pull as good as possible, max +20, power 3, and then we're going to center the ball, apply whatever wind angle tweaks with you have in the guide, and hit perfect. Perfect ball, and we see it bounce on the fairway into the rough, roll up towards the green, getting it dropped for an amazingly good hole-in-one here on hole number 7. So for hole number 3 in the 9-hole cup, here we're gonna play with a power slice. And we're gonna use a 4 top spin, 2 right spin. I'm gonna use a tight. You see, I'm stretching out to be just to the left of the brown rough patch there by all the trees. Max overpower, max curl to the right, and then full slice to the right. The idea here is to get the ball as far down to the right possible. You may be wondering, why do complicate it so much to go with a power slice? It's because I would say that's the only way to get to where we are now, and therefore the only way to get ourselves into a very good chance for an albatross. Let's say that you have headwind from tee, you can't play this type of shot, you're gonna have to then play just straight down the fairway and then transport the ball to green with a cataclysm or a big dog to make sure that you secure the eagle. So it's only gonna be an eagle play if that's going to happen. But if we do have tailwind, once again, we can play the drive that I showed on screen, and then we get ourselves in a super good chance for an albatross. Measure the club distance to get the correct club distance here, and we're going to play this with 20% elevation. You see here now, I'm measuring the club distance to see what type of range I'm in. I position myself here on the fairway. I'm not using any spin for this shot. You can obviously use backspin or topspin if you would like, but I like to play without any spins if I have room to do that, because it gives me a very natural first and second bounce, and that is easier for me at least to read. Once again, 20% elevation, center the ball, hit perfect, and this is going to be a super good chance for an albatross. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Can we get it? We can. Swirl it in from the right and 180 in the hole. I will take that all day and every day on a tough par 5, such as the Southern Pines. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert division here with various wins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Scan the QR code here on the screen, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. That will take you to our premium guides where you can subscribe and start improving your game too. day. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.